All right, to start segment 2 today, last week, Heathen Dog told us all about the worst player choices you can make out there. How you can be a bad player. Well, it's not so much bad player, just bad, ignorant, inexperienced choices. How about that? Well, today it's going to be the best choices that you can make as a new player playing riffs. And I kind of did your 30-second spiel there, but I'll let you do your 30-second spiel of what you're going to talk about.
All right. This is a list of, I call it a top 3. It's really not, because this is unlike last week. This is pretty damn subjective. So it's going to be different. All of this is going to rank in your mind, but most likely not in the top 3. But again, this is for new players to tell them this will give you a better gameplay experience.
Okay. The core values of #RPGate and any good tabletop group are escapism, not representation, entertainment over activism, and natural, organic inclusion, not forced diversity. Please follow that QR code or refer to the description below for the link to the charity we support, which is the Wounded Warrior Project. Thursdays and Saturdays, you can watch the Dirty Casuals on twitch.tv/Legion of Myth. Fridays and Sundays, you can watch the Friday Night Show stream and RPG Digest on our YouTube and Rumble channels. Please leave us a comment with your thoughts and experiences, and if you like our gaming content, please be sure to subscribe to Legion of Myth.
All right. And hit that subscription thing. Yeah.
There you go.
There it is.
Oh, I was talking with Garth on last night in his own channel. I should have recorded him going, subscribe!
Yes, you should have. Anyway, these are the 3 things I see new players do incorrectly that if a game master would convince them to try the other way, the other road, they would have a much better time. They're French frying when they should pizza. They're going to crash down the mountain. So, very, very first one. Again, these are going to be in completely different order in your head. These are the ones I chose because these are the most offenders I've seen. Always have a bard in your party. Why?
Wait, what?
Why do I need a rogue scholar? Why do I need a city rat? Why do I need all these things that they're worthless in a fight? They're garbage. I don't want to. Well, okay. Number 1, you're not fighting all the time. All right. And number 2, the world, well, North America is littered with small, isolated villages that fight every day for survival. If you walk in looking like these guys, because that's what you look like when you're in mega damage armor, carrying giant boom guns, or you're a dragon hatchling walking around without being transformed into a human-looking thing. You look like you're supernatural predators come to take everything they have, including their lives. So, how do you walk into a village and not immediately get a flight or fight response? Well, you have that rogue scholar. You have that city rat. You have that bard in your party that is the face of your party, the representative. And his job is to de-escalate everything, make everyone safe, make them know that, no, we're here for some food, or we're just passing through, or whatever. We're going to be on our way. No harm, no foul. And you know what? A Borg is not going to be good at that.
Oh.
No, you
don't know that.
You're a walking weapon. You're not going to be good at that. A juicer or a crazy, also not good at convincing people everything's okay, because everything's not okay with them. All right. So you need a normie. You need a poster child. You need a bard. Get the bard. Play the bard. Love the bard. He's your friend.
Well, one of the examples, and we've talked about it before, is you might need the not the bard. Well, now I'm saying the Borg, the juicer, and the crazy, the glitter boy, and the robot pilot to go kick down the door to an installation. Or maybe you want to do a little more sneaky with the Borg. Yeah, you can still be a little sneaky in a technological world. You can be a little sneaky with the Borg, depending on how the surveillance is. You have that rogue scholar take down that surveillance. He's not shooting anybody, although he probably could. He's not in the front lines going, but he's definitely somewhere near you putting up the EMP field. He's the one that, as you get him, like, okay, Rogue Scholar, we fought to get you to this door. Open the dumb thing up. And he's there opening it up. So even in combat, a Rogue Scholar, absolutely, or Vagabond, or Wilderness Scout, whatever, absolutely has a place as long as the Game Master does his due diligence to make sure that those players are supported.
And that brings me to the point. The reason this is on the list is because a lot of players do not properly utilize these support classes' broad array of skills and abilities. They may not be completely apparent in a combat situation, but they do exist, and they definitely useful outside a combat situation. This is one example. So then we go to number 2.
Right.
Play your strength. The reason I'm saying this is because OCCs stand for occupational character classes. That means this is a class-based game. You chose a class, be it a combat cyborg, a mercenary, a wilderness scout, a rogue scholar, a juicer, whatever. You play your class. A lot of people try to fill multiple roles. In the beginning of a game, that's never a good idea. You do not have the broad range of skills required to be multiple roles unless you want to do non-combat multiple roles, which is easy enough if you take a rogue scholar, if you take a city rat, or if you take a wilderness scout, stuff like that. You have a lot of skills. You can do multiple things, but stay in your lane.
Mm-hmm.
Your lane is larger because you're a support class. That's great. But if you're a fighter class, if you're a magic using class, you have a little more utility, but a fighter class, definitely. If you are a cyborg, if you are a mercenary, if you are a juicer, and you're trying to, you know, cook dinner, you're trying to negotiate peace with a village, that's not your lane, man. You're gonna suck at it, especially at low levels. You are gonna suck. So when you start a group, this is a broader theme. If you haven't seen it, like, you know, group utility is everyone is a different class, or you have different subsets. Like you have 2 fighter classes, you have a magic or a sonic user, and then you have 2 support classes. This will give you a completely well-rounded group that can do almost anything as long as you stay in your particular lane. Stick to your strengths. The rogue scholar or the city doc or whatever is going to do his thing. You do your thing so he can do his thing. Don't try and step on his thing. Don't let him try and step on yours. This is when you start failing as a group. This is when group cohesion breaks down.
It is okay to have to be a secondary. Like if that person fails or gets captured.
Yes. Backup is smart. Backup is smart. But backup is not as robust or effective as primary, or else it would be primary.
Right.
Right. So stick to your lane until the other guy's lane is unattended. Then, well, I guess you got to deal with that too, but it's not going to be as well. It's not going to work as well, and you're not going to be as good. As long as you can accept that as backup, you're fine. That's great.
With as much as people complain that it takes so long to make a Rifts character, and Palladium kind of across the board, I struggle with that because Palladium offers so many ways to, number one, do exactly what Heathen Dog said, what kind of forces you to be in your role. It gives you OCC skills. You will have these skills because you picked this character class.
Yeah.
Then it has the OCC related skills. There, the list is a little bit more open and you pick, but there is still a lane to stay in.
Yes, exactly. They are to support your primary skill uses.
Which allows you to maybe venture a little bit differently, but you're still staying in that role. And then you have your secondary skills, which other than
you get
the
a
list,
couple of them. You get like 1d4. Well, usually one 1d4 skills.
Just
I mean, if you're a city rat or a rogue scholar, you'll get more. Sure. But
those let you step outside the bounds, though.
Yeah, step outside. But
just a touch.
These are the ones with no bonuses. These are the ones with straight straight percentiles, you are going to suck. If you have a secondary skill at 35%, consider yourself lucky as hell.
Now with that in mind, you can personalize your character to some degree. So one Borg is different than another Borg. One juicer is different than another juicer, as he's saying. But none of them have you playing against type. And I am one of those people that is very anti playing against type. And play to your strength, as it says right there, but also know your role. Stay in your lane. Stay in that role.
That's why I got a picture of the road. Stay in your lane. Yeah.
That is how class-based games run. If you don't like that stuff, then go to a pure skill-based game, and then everybody's going to have the same vanilla cookie-cutter skills because people have learned to break those games.
But there's a greater chance that will happen. Yes, definitely. Now, number one for me, alignment.
Oh, wow.
People have new players to Palladium have just a complete misunderstanding of what alignments, because alignments in Palladium are addressed differently than in almost every other role-playing game out there. So I understand it. But you as a game master, to have your players, get a good time out of their game, they have to understand how their alignment works. Now, the cool thing is they get to choose it. But if they make an uninformed decision, they're still going to have a bad time. So you have to go over the alignments with them. Now, the cool thing about Palladium is you can be a hero and have a miscreant alignment. You could technically have an evil alignment and still be a hero. Having an evil type alignment doesn't mean you do evil things all the time.
What, not 24/7?
No. Well, aberrant evil maybe, but like you don't dream of murdering children or anything. It's just that you care about yourself and your goals more than anyone else's. Does that make you evil? No, it's pretty selfish. Unprincipled selfish is the tail end of what people would most believe is the acceptable lower end of the alignment scale. I don't believe that. I believe almost any alignment will work in a group because technically you're not heroes. You're not. You're just folk surviving in a world that hates you or misunderstands you. Now, how do you change people's minds, or do you even care? Do you just want to build a place of safety for you and yours and screw everyone else? Well, that's more of a selfish alignment. You can do that. That's fine. Have your players understand the alignment so they can choose one that they want to play and they can play well. And the cool thing about these alignments it takes more ambiguity out of their actions than, say, the D&D alignment system.
Oh, God. Yeah. It's hard to argue over the Palladium.
Exactly. Yes, because you get examples here. And these are broad examples to be sure, but they are excellent guidelines. So your player's character can make an informed decision on what they would do or what they would not do. Like if you are principled good, you don't lie. You always keep your word. If you're scrupulous good, you always keep your word to other good aligned people. Evil people, they don't deserve that kind of respect. That's the way you roll. That's your alignment. It affects your actions directly. And once your players understand that, they understand what the alignments mean. They choose the one that they want to play, which means they're not going to have any problems moving forward. No problems at all. And it helps them get into the mind of their character, which will only accentuate roleplay across the board. That's
what do you say to people who just hate alignments in general?
Then you don't know Palladium alignments. And these are for new players, and so that's fine. But as a game master, it's your job to explain the benefits of this alignment system and how it's going to help them play their character.
I agree. I have nothing that I can really add to that.
I know, right?
Palladium. I'm that person who doesn't like alignments in games. But if you're going to use alignments, absolutely, this is the alignment system to use. And I could even see myself using an alignment system like a Palladium alignment system in games where I normally wouldn't use alignments at all because they make that much sense.
All right, what do we got for chat?
I only have a couple starred.
That's fine.
Player characters are psychopaths.
that was the you want a bard thing. Yeah. Yeah. The way they look, you know, walking up to some isolated village that's made out of like grass and mud bricks. You're walking up with a you know a glitter boy clad in and full environmental MDC armor, carrying 27 hand cannons. What do you think they're gonna think of you? They're gonna think, oh God, well, whatever stuff my entire lineage has tried to amass in the last 300 years now is probably gonna belong to them, or it's gonna burn. That's what they're gonna think.
Everybody's running around the town. You think that they're setting up for war? No, they're just hiding the gold.
Yeah, they're hiding their prize doll or whatever, because that's all they have. But that's what they got to do.
And then also from Rex Teal. So is it that character creation just looks intimidating, but is actually pretty straightforward?
Okay, it is both. It is pretty straightforward, but it is intimidating to, especially for a new player. Because by the way you should be making your character, there is a whole lot of more random rolls than many players think is comfortable.
Also, a lot of different areas of the book you have to look at to get all the
Yes.
stuff for your character.
Yes. Now, this portion is for new players, not new game masters. So you are an experienced game master in this scenario. You're able to help these new players navigate this task, which at first is not daunting, but time consuming.
Yes.
It's not hard. It just takes a long time. The more you do it, the faster you get at it, to be sure. But this is for new players. It's going to take a minute.
The benefit of taking that time, though, and I say this over and over again, is you have everything you should have everything you need to know about your character on that character sheet.
You're not be able to, yeah, exactly right. You should be able to, by looking at your character sheet, make every single ambiguously moral decision that your character would make, and you got a guideline for it. An answer, maybe not, but a guideline. You have a way to go. That's a good deal.
Like those are the only two I start.
Okay.
So I'm not putting Crafty's comment up there again. I've cursed twice and gave a middle finger once on this stream. I'm not supposed to be doing that RPG Digest, so Crafty, stop egging me on. But did you see what he said about the nuke?
No, I didn't.
He said, or you could play it. What was it? Sometimes you need the mecha pilot to make a tough decision to nuke the town.
God, he's been talking to Garthon.
Oh, well, that was for our game, but yeah, I forgot. Yeah, Garthon doing that. Burn the village down. Palladium Fantasy First Edition is very fast and easy while keeping flexibility of the later editions. That's from Violent Solves Everything. Yeah, he made a on his Rumble page. Was it Rumble? Yeah, he did that on Rumble on his Rumble channel. He did a first edition character for Palladium Fantasy. That is true. I'm torn. I like a lot of what first edition does simplify over second edition, but I also like a lot of what second edition did as well. I don't have a personal favorite, like I only play second or only play first. I just recognize them that, they play a little differently.
Here's one here that I think is good. Kevin Sullivan says, the biggest time killer in most modern games is players or GMs looking up obscure rules that should be on the character sheet but are not. Yes, that is a problem, especially with new players and new game masters. It is a problem, but after you get some experience under your belt, which it's required. I'm sorry, there's no shortcut to this. This is required. You as the game master, you make a snap judgment call. Right or wrong, you tell them this is how it's going to be now. We'll look it up later. Keep the game moving. Keep people having fun.
But you screwed over. Like I should have got a +7, not a +2.
Okay, and we'll deal with that after the game. And if you're wrong, then you say, "Oh, I'm sorry, I'm wrong." And now we know. And going forward, you're going to get that +7 because now everyone's on the same page. And if your player's still butthurt about that, then he may want to walk away from the table because you're being reasonable and he's being petulant.
I took the Kevin thing down because yes, but I have a very big caveat to this, and we'll see if Heathen Dog agrees with me.
It's not enough. Yeah.
Well, yeah. Don't use the character sheets that come with the book.
No.
I have notebooks that I use for my characters for riffs, or I make my own character sheets.
And there are free online several character generators for riffs that will give you so much more information that is very situational, but it's on page 2 or page 3 of your printout of your character sheet that you can reference when needed, and it does all the calculations for you. Max.
Yeah. If you have
Max,
Excel,
what he does is he'll get all the possible combat variations he'll put down, so he can just look through. Okay, in this variation, I get plus this, plus that, minus this. Well, this character generator will do it for you and give you all the bonuses and minuses and damages and stuff like that you have. Use those, especially for new players that have played role-playing games before, but not Rifts or Palladium. Then, yeah.
I mean, you have a video that you did a few years ago that's how Rifts is the second game. How'd that go? The second game that you should play or run or something like that?
Yeah. It's not for the faint of heart.